Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about yield nodes, and we're going to have a look further back than we previously have done in our reviews. We're going to go all the way back to our first videos. So to give you an option actually to have a look, see how it has developed over time. And obviously if you haven't seen them before, for sure it will also help you on your due diligence when you go through yield nodes. We have sent out videos for more than a year now. We've been with them since November 2020. So obviously there's a lot of information, there's a lot of video material. We're going to go through some of these things, obviously not in detail. You can go to the individual videos, but we also want to show you everything that has happened since our last review, which was back in March. So basically it has now been 2.5, getting closer to 3 months here, and all the updates that have come on the yield node platform, the changes, the new developments that are in there. We're going to show you everything today, and also we're going to show you the profits that we have received in 2020. What is the new average, because it's not the same as it used to be, and what basically we can expect for the rest of the year. So let's get started and let's have a look at some of the videos we started off with long time ago now. First one here that we have back then is when yield nodes was about 18 months old. And back then also we mentioned that what you can normally get from yield nodes is somewhere between 5 to 15% per month. And this is basically where we started doing the videos and documenting everything. After that we started off, which is now more than also a year ago, in May 2021. Yield nodes at that particular time, if you compounded everything that you had in there with them, would have been past 700% and over 20 months. Since then, we have then done more videos, and as you can see, the profit has stable increased from every single month. We never had a single week, or we never had a single month where we had any minuses. We have always had above 5%, and the highest we ever had was just over 19. At this particular time, we also had new SAP investments ready, and that also came from iHost MN, and basically new to send me coins. Happy birthday after 2 years, and basically yield nodes ended up at that particular time after the 2 years with 968%, which is quite astonishing, and definitely it had already established itself as a player to be, and not just something that came up and took away people's money. So quite happy with this, and everybody that comes in with yield nodes seems to have the same high opinion of them. We blasted through the 1000% mark also here back in 2020, and since then we have had quite a few videos showing the progress as we've gone along. So again, just in the fall we were up at 1258%, continued to rise, and profits was on an average around 10% per month. The last one we did here was this particular year, where we ended up with 1600% after 29 months. So quite astonishing, not only the percentage, but also the company has continued to expand, to develop, and continue to do a lot of high percentages. And that's what we're here to look at today, and also to make sure that you know the development over time. And that's exactly where these videos come in and can show you my development, so how we have done the investment so far. So let's have a quick look at the investment disclaimer, and let's get started.
The data on this website is for your information only. It does not constitute professional investment advice, or advice on tax or legal matters. Please remember that all investment strategies and investments involve risk of loss. Nothing contained in this video should be construed as investment advice. Any reference to an investment's past or potential performance is not, and should not be construed as, a recommendation or as a guarantee of any specific outcome or profit in the future.
So if you have followed a couple of the videos before, so as I showed you, you will see also that yield nodes is making sure that they try to be as transparent as humanly possible, and they have done a couple of audits with 6 months in between, where they basically invite a range of people. In the beginning it was YouTubers, heavy investors, that it still is. And now they have a raffle also, where in total for the coming audit in July, starting on the 18th to 21st, there will now be about 10 auditors going to the office in Malta. So definitely a very good thing. Openness from Yieldnodes has always been their priority. And this particular raffle, it has taken place, so it's too late now if you wanted to be in on it, but obviously there will be another one for sure. So it seems to be quite stable every 6 months or so, obviously depending on COVID and other things happening in the world. This time around, there will be 5 candidates that will be randomly chosen, and there's a video for this that is out already, again in order to promote the openness of Yieldnodes, and we will put a link in the video description below so you can go and find it there. Plus there will also be an additional 5 people that has been chosen by Yieldnodes and for various reasons, and that will basically make up the total of 10. So we're looking very much forward to this one as always, so it's a good insight and plenty of positive news. If you want to have a look at the previous audits that has been there, then you have to go into your Yieldnodes platform, basically click on the audit button, and you will then see, as you have on the screen here, you have from the first quarter, so of 2021, and then the last one was done in October last year, and both of them you can go in, have more details. There's a couple of pictures in there also. So very open, very honest, and straightforward as always. New part also with the Yieldnodes, since we have been here last, so is actually a knowledge database. They wanted to have some tutorials, not only for Yieldnodes, but also for Decenemy. And they have basically now set up their knowledge database, which you can access through the platform. We also have the link below, as you can see here, and we will provide that with the description, so it's easy to find. You just have to log in, and you have a lot of videos from other Yieldnodes members trying to explain most of the common parts. Some of the most common parts, we have actually done quite a few videos on both Yieldnodes and Decenemy. These are the top ones that we have chosen to bring out: how to make 5% return on investment with Decenemy coins. And this is actually from A to Z tutorial, explaining all the way through on how you set up your exchanges, how you exchange your money into the different Decenemy coins. And we're using also a BIRAC exchange in this particular case, and then how you can go to iHost MN and then start your shared masternoding, which is the most common part, because it's a very easy setup and you can take your money out very quickly again should you need it. On top of this, we have also found your Yieldnodes account, which is also one of the more popular ones, and this is through Binance. Again, it's a step-by-step tutorial all the way through, and this one seems to have been quite popular also. And the ultimate tutorial setup guide is another A to Z, basically how you get started with a bit of information, where to go, how to do it, and get yourself started and start investing with Yieldnodes. So these are the most common videos that seems to really hit. The latest one we have just released here is another Yieldnodes tutorial regarding the affiliate commission. So that means that if you want to sign other people up, you get a 5% commission, and basically we explain in this tutorial here how to get paid, how to add it to your Yieldnodes balance. You have 2 different options, and that also seems to be quite popular. So it is a very simple process, but again, if you haven't done it before, it can obviously create a bit of confusion. So many new things has happened here also on the Yieldnodes platform, and one of the major parts that a lot of the Yieldnodes members basically wanted, they wanted to have a USD withdrawal available, apart from what we already had, where we had Bitcoin and Sapphire coins. We mentioned this in our news report a couple of weeks back, and obviously also we told you that there's a 1% fee basically. So this is the transfer fee, so this doesn't go into Yieldnodes, but basically just transfer it over to USDT and you can get it out in a stable coin instead. So the options that we now have in the Yieldnodes is obviously expanding. And if you go in on the platform, you have your withdrawal buttons here, and you can now see you have 3 options. So you can get your Bitcoin, you can get your SAP, or you can get it out in USDT on the TRC20 network. So Bitcoin is always on the 8th together with USD and then SAP is on the 4th every month, as long as you make sure that you put in your request before the 15th of the month, and then about 3 weeks later you will then have your payments. And there are actually payments that are coming out exactly on time. We never had any issues with that in all the time we have been with Yieldnodes, so very well done to the team again. On the deposit side, it has also expanded, and again you can now deposit in Bitcoin or you can deposit in USDC TRC20 on the network, which is obviously a lot cheaper, especially for people that put small amounts of money in every single month. Because if you do that in Bitcoin, obviously the fees will be quite high, and at the end of the day it will eat a lot of your profits. So plenty of options on the entire Yieldnodes platform, and it's all positive as usual. Another positive thing here that we just mentioned in our previous news report, and definitely had to be in on this review also for Yieldnodes, is there's a new country that Yieldnodes is now working with, so which is quite interesting. There is a document, as you can see on this, already out here also, and definitely we are looking very much forward to this and exactly what this means for all of us that are in Yieldnodes and also have some of the Decennial coins. So the letter of intent here from the and I have to see if I pronounce this correct, Sao Tome. So, and the principal government has signed this particular letter, and we don't know exactly when this is gonna start off, but obviously we are looking forward to more news in the very near future. So for those who wants to know a bit more about where exactly Sao Tome and Principe is located, well, you basically need your African map. And up here in the top you can see Lagos, which is part of Nigeria, and then you can see Gabon down here on the side, and you have 2 small little islands that I have marked up here in yellow, and they're also over here on the left hand side, basically showing the 2 islands that we're talking about here. It will be quite interesting to see exactly how they're going to make use of Decennial coins, how it's going to work, if it's going to take this on as the new coin for this particular country. We don't know, so as at the moment we are simply just speculating. Obviously, if a country like that takes this on, it could mean that many of the coins is going to be strengthened. They're going to expand quite a lot. So, and you can actually use some of these coins for various things, so they are no longer just hanging in the air. You can use them a bit similar to what we have on the SAP and Sapphire coin, where you can go in and buy your Netflix and other things online. Very exciting news, and obviously we are waiting for the CEO to come out with more news, more updates on how exactly this will work, when it will be implemented. These things we do not know at the given time, but obviously we will try and figure out more as soon as we can. To stay a bit in the history books when it comes to Yieldnodes, we have gone back to our Excel, where we basically have plotted in every single profit since Yieldnode started, and then we have done our own little calculations in between, and we go all the way back, as you can see here, to August 2019, where things were still in development. And at the first few, for basically 5 months, we can see here the average was 11.26% per month. And then in January 2020, it went into beta testing and basically live operation for the rest of 2020. And that's what you see back here. So December 2020, overall, we ended up in that year 124.3%. and an average of 10.36% month by month. Going on, we can see also that for 2021 we had obviously live operation, beta test, everything else was completed. And 2021 became very much similar to what we had seen in 2020. And the comparison here is 124.2 compared to the previous year, 124.3. So very similar all the way through. And the average for 2021 was actually 10.35. So again, very close to what we really wanted to see and what was more or less promised at the time. Things have changed a bit now, so obviously a lot of things has happened in the world, also in the crypto world. Nothing ever stands still. And we noticed small little shifts already at the end of last year. And you can see we had a bit of a dip in September of 7.7%, again in November and again in December. And that has continued at the similar levels that what we've seen before. And that also means now that the average that you see here is slowly but surely dropping. This takes every single month into consideration, that when Yieldnode started, so obviously it's a bit higher than the current one. The 7.7% only takes into consideration 2021. So if you're coming into Yieldnodes, or if you're an old member, you would already know that maybe 10% is no longer the standard. And we have to look at lower profits, but we knew that this could happen over time. So when everything else comes mainstream, profits would slowly but surely diminish. But obviously, I have no doubt that Yieldnodes and the Decennium team is going to make sure that we're going to continue to have well and good profits here. And what I just explained to you definitely sounds like they are on top of things. So for 2022, for the rest of the year, I would most likely go with 7 or 8% as a monthly average, which is definitely not bad. As you can see, every single month has been positive. Everything has been in black numbers. So we are quite happy, obviously, with development here. And what we are going to show you here now is basically what it means when you also do the compounding, because the 124% is basically just taking your money out month by month. But if you compound it, it's a whole different story and things will start to go very, very fast. So when I show the compounding calculator and what can be actually achieved with the Yieldnodes and the Yieldnode system, I always use this calculator site here, so I find it easy to use instead of doing the old calculations. And obviously this will also provide anybody else with the option to just go in and put whatever number you think you want to invest, or at least you're considering. And what you have to do here is put in the currency. In this particular case, we're using euro because this is part of the Yieldnode system. Initial balance is 5,000. If that is what you want to put in, just make sure that this is not your rent money. This is not money that you need tomorrow or next month. So make sure that you can afford to lose this. Worst case scenario, Yieldnodes is obviously a high risk being in the crypto world. But again, you got to make sure that that you have your things covered. You do your due diligence, and you can find more on all this on our website also to help you get this sorted. So now that we have mentioned this once more, we have a look at this. We put the interest rate at 8% because this is closer to what we are seeing now. And then if we do 100% compounding over 36 months, basically we will end up here with the calculation progress, so of effective rate of 151%. And for the previous years, it has been over 200. So obviously this is fairly low compared to the previous years, but still a very nice profit all the way through. So the interest you can see per month, it will go up slowly but surely. So the interest in total, and then obviously your total balance is on the right and the blue side here. And you will notice after 1 year, you will basically end up with 932 euros And again, the interest you will have received at the time would be 7,590, and then your balance would be past the 12,590. If you go to 2 years, and we haven't been in there for 2 years, but definitely it's coming up fairly fast, so we're still missing a couple of months. But in this case here, you will now be able to have a return, so for this money, of about 2,348. And then the interest in total you would have received with Yieldnodes at the time was 26,705. Your total balance is now past the 30,000. So, and then as you can see, for the last 12 months also, it's growing quite fast. And now your profits on a monthly basis is at 5,914. And your total interest you received also is close to 75,000. And then your balance will be 80,000. The second option I wanted to show you also is the difference here. So if you go and you decide you want to add in a bit of extra money every month instead of just the initial deposit, it will have a quite big an effect. So if you can see here, we are currently at 80,000 for the future investment. And what it will mean, just if you put 100 euros in every month going forward, it basically will increase your investment over the 3 years with about 20,000. So it means quite a bit. You will end up, as you can see down here at the bottom, here's your 100 euros that you are adding into the account every single month. And this is what comes out of it at the end of the day, the 98,000. Obviously, everybody has a different way of investing. Everybody has a different capital to move with, and therefore it's easier that you yourself have a closer look and see what you can afford to invest in this project. So, and then see what you can expect to get out of it at the end of the day. In every Yieldnodes review, we obviously need to have a look at the performance that are within the Yieldnodes platform itself. It gives you a very good guidance and a setup on how exactly you can compound and what you can get out of it, apart from what I showed you just before. And obviously this particular one shows from the inception of Yieldnodes back in 2019 here, and it compares to a range of different products such as gold, Dow Jones, the Bitcoin, and then 2 different types. So Yieldnodes, where you are basically taking out the profit month on month, and then the red one is the top part here, and that is the one when you compound all the way through without taking anything out. So every single month is being plotted in here by the Yieldnodes team, and you can see the development. So back then we could see that Bitcoin was basically following the performance of, or even doing almost better than Yieldnodes compounding. But then it hit the all-time high at 60,000 and has dropped since then. There's no doubt about which one is the best way. It's Yieldnodes and continuous compounding. All the way up to the top part here, you'll see that your initial deposit of 5,000 has now turned into 105,783 if you would have been in from the beginning when Yieldnodes started. Otherwise, you would have made 21,000 in profits. So if you have taken your profit out on a monthly basis, and then if you would have invested in Bitcoin, you would now have had somewhere around the 90,000 mark. Dow Jones and gold, obviously a lot lower. So we'll stick with Yieldnodes, and as you can see here, the total profit over time will be 321% calculated here. Total profit, and this is the compounding parts that you just saw here, has now surpassed 2,000%, so 2,015.67 to be exact. So very high numbers, but definitely we can confirm that this is the way to build things up. Compounding is definitely the 7th wonder of the world, and we are using it to the best of our abilities, and it has been a very positive ride with Yieldnodes so far. So how do you get started with Yieldnodes? Well, basically one of the ways you can do is you can come and visit High Tech Investments website, and it looks like this. And obviously we always have a bit of on our latest news report, so which is the one you see right here. And then we have a recommended video on the other side, so with a range of portfolio of opportunities, and it also gives a couple of links to our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, and our LinkedIn account. So all you do is either click the portfolio opportunities here, or you go in the top part, and then you'll see the various projects that we have through the platform here. And what we are looking at today is the Yieldnodes one. In here you'll find a bit of a description. You will also find all the videos that we have and tutorials, so it's easy for you to have a quick look at how many times we have basically done reviews and where exactly things have gone. We also have a couple of informations direct from Yieldnodes, and we keep the last couple of results from 2022 on the site here also, so you can see the sites. You can sign up here if you want to use our link. That will obviously help our YouTube channel. You have Trustpilot, so which is currently quite high, as you can see also with Yieldnodes. We have some return on the investments going all the way back in graphical form. We have a bit of an Excel, which will now be updated, and we will add to the new one. And then we are showing the core team. So Steve, the CEO, and the mastermind, as he's normally mentioned as, Urs, which is the one that takes care of all the different coins, when to buy, when to sell, what to do. And on top of this, we also have a range of links that you can then use for your own due diligence, and definitely we will get you going and have a better understanding of what exactly Yieldnodes is all about. So there you have it, a lot of information, a view back into time. So on early days of Yieldnodes, we showed you the profits that we have documented, our results, which is basically lining up completely with the Yieldnodes team itself. And we then also show you the opportunities you have, how to get started. And it's just a matter of doing your due diligence, making sure that you only use, again, money you can afford to lose. And basically from there on, it's just getting started. If you have any more details that you want, so from us, then by all means send us an email. We will try and help you answer some of the questions you may have. So, but most of the things definitely are covered in our video. So, but we always appreciate some feedback, some information, or just simply help people out with their concerns. But we do not give investment advice in that particular case. So it is entirely up to you. We are only showing our investment and how we got started. So, and that's all. You can obviously always follow the Yieldnodes progress every single week on our news report. So I'll see you on that one next time. Bye-bye.